of an episode. It's actually when Buffy's mother dies. So Joyce finds out she has essentially something wrong with her brain. I think she has cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And her and Dawn, it's almost showing them as a human, the human side of Buffy.
This is not like a supernatural episode or an action-packed
very
episode.
human.
This actually just shows you a lot about emotion and a lot of just basic...
What it's like to lose.
Yeah, and basic things that people go through every day.
Yeah.
It's not just like a supernatural. This is just something people go through. People lose loved ones.
People lose their parents, and it is heartbreaking. Yeah. And to watch them and how they both react to the scenario is different.
Oh, yeah. The performances are really good.
Buffy
even
is
Michelle Trachtenberg.
She does good in that episode.
Yeah, and I don't like Dawn, but she's even good. Sarah Michelle Gellar's out of A game. And the actress that plays Joyce is so good. And all their friends are with them, and even Spike's with them. Even they ignore Spike, because Spike is not just for Buffy. Like, he actually liked Joyce.
He actually liked Buffy's mom. I don't even know why.
Because she was nice to him.
She invites him in.
Yeah, he even says in that episode, he's like, out of all you people, Joyce is the only one I could even stand, because she actually treated me like I was a person.
Like a person and not a vampire. And I thought it was so sad that even he was showing emotion that was very human, and that you truly, being somebody as us who have lost a parent, I really related to this episode, and I was like, it's so realistic. Yeah. It is exactly how you feel when you lose a loved one, and I like that they showed that Buffy's not only a kick-ass, female heroine, she's very human, very, very, very emotional, and she has a very good connection with her mother, who is literally the only person who's there for her besides Giles, and I love it.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't get, though, where is Buffy's dad?
Yeah.
Where the hell is he?
You don't really know a lot about him.
He's in the first 2 seasons, and then he's just gone.
Then he's not there anymore. It's weird. It's almost like they never even tell you.
Well, occasionally they mention, I got a hold of my dad. I'm like, where is he?
I don't know.
Worst parent ever.
He's a horrible dad. She's dying, and he's nowhere to be found.
I don't know.
Whatever. I still think that The Body is a great episode, well acted, and, if you want to watch an episode that's going to grip your heart, as well as, your character development, and you have a really good attachment to all these characters, I love the episode, and you should check that episode out.
Great episode. Alright. Coming number 6 for me is Banned Candy. This is a Halloween...
Oh, this episode.
Oh, God. I just laugh just thinking about it. This is an episode when they get Halloween candy, and inside this Halloween candy, if all the adults eat it, they revert back to their, teenage selves. So, in this episode, Giles is like a biker.
And her mom is, in love with Giles. She's
like a slutty cheerleader. And
so funny.
The principal's like a dork, and oh my God, this episode is so freaking hilarious, and Buffy's like, ew.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you making out with my mom?
And Giles is like...
Giles is like a leather jacket, and he goes on a motorcycle. It is so funny.
Seeing Anthony Stewart Head just be a badass biker,
super funny.
It's totally worth it, and it's just fucking awesome.
It's goofy, it's funny, and I love pretty much every Halloween episode in Buffy. So it's
there's
fantastic.
Nothing groundbreaking about this episode. No. I can name actually 20 episodes better than this. Just personally, I love it.
So funny.
Anytime I need a good pick me up, this is a good episode. And anytime I have to watch something Halloween, I have to watch all the Simpsons episodes on Halloween.
Treehouse of Horrors.
But I also have to watch a lot of Buffy episodes.
It's so good.
This is one of them.
So good.
And it's awesome. Love it. My number 6.
Fair enough. Now my number 6 is a really weird one. It's Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. And this
Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. That's the one when Xander makes all the ladies in love with him.
He makes a love spell that he wants to give to Cornelia, and Cordelia's doesn't get it. It actually does the opposite. Everybody else falls in love with him.
But Cordelia. Buffy's in love with him. Willow's in love with him.
It's so
Joyce
funny.
is in love with him. All the
They're all
teachers
coming
are in love
on to him, taking their clothes off, and Buffy literally. This is the funniest part. Is when Buffy literally tells him that she wants to sleep with him, and he's like,
"It's like a dream come true." But he loves Cordelia.
and he's like, "But."
She's wearing a skimpy outfit under this leather coat in the library. She's like, "I know you want me, Xander." He's like.
What I liked about the episode, it was so funny, but you've actually found out that Cordelia does kind of like Xander.
Oh yeah, she does. She's too worried. She's too worried about her popularity, and she wants to be like the cool girl.
Do you know what's funny? Besides Angel and Buffy and Spike and Buffy, I actually really liked the relationship between Cordelia and Xander.
It was good while it lasted. It lasted a season, and it was good.
And I even preferred it over Anya and Xander,
Yeah, even though I do like Anya, but Cordelia I don't like Cordelia. I can't stand her. She gets better in Angel. She's actually freaking useful, but this show she's terrible. But that episode is very, very funny, and I love Xander in it. Xander is the straight up comic relief, and he's awesome.
And he's always he's like my guilty pleasure favorite character because he's so ridiculous.
Hey, there's
and he's
nothing
hilarious.
guilty about liking Xander.
Xander is hilarious, and if you don't like Xander, that's your loss. I think Xander's freaking hysterical, and I love to see him in a very quirky episode where he ends up getting all these women to fall in love with him, and he doesn't even know what to do with himself.
Oh yeah, a nerd getting chased by women, it's overwhelming.
He doesn't know what to do. He's like, oh my god, everybody's in love with me.
Alright, coming in my number 5 is the episode The Wish. This episode, accidentally, Cordelia runs into Anya. This introduces Anya, who's a vengeance demon, who grants wishes to only women. And accidentally, Cordelia wishes that Buffy never came to Sunnydale. So, basically, Cordelia gets transported into a multi-universe where Buffy does not exist and Sunnydale is run by vampires.
And Willow and Xander are both vampires. It is so funny.
It's such a very cool and unique episode.
It's very strange.
And I love that, you see, I won't spoil, but you actually get to see where Buffy really is in this multi-universe, and it's really dark, and it's really very interesting. Dark. And yes, basically, the only people that are protecting this town is Oz and Giles and a couple other people.
Oz is still good.
Yeah, because he's a werewolf. He's not a vampire. He hates vampires, but
watching bad Willow as a vampire is
watching
hilarious.
a badass Xander and Willow as vampires is
super
awesome.
funny.
The villain from the first season, he's basically taken over the town because if Buffy never came, he would have took over all of Sunnydale,
and they will be vampires, pretty much.
And that's what this episode is about. This is very much a what if episode. If Buffy never came to Sunnydale, and basically Cordelia dies in this episode.
Yeah.
And a lot of people die. Xander dies. Willow dies. A lot of people die in this episode. A lot of dark shit happens, but it's such a unique and very clever episode.
Very well written. I love it. And acted. Super good.
It's so good. Such a good episode. One of my favorites.
Awesome.
Number 5.
And now my number 5 is it's a very strange one and very unique too. It's Conversations with Dead People.
Just after.
Actually, these characters, none of the main characters have an interaction with each other in this episode, which I thought was really unique. It doesn't happen very often. And they get visited from people from the past. Yeah. You know, Willow gets visited from somebody who is... what's her name? She was somebody who died in the first couple of seasons. But anyways, she essentially says she gets called down by Tara. She said, Tara sent me here to tell you to pretty much kill yourself. Yeah. And then she finds out that this person was actually the first greatest evil on Earth. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy and pretty neat. Yeah, it's really messed up.
It's dark, it's gritty, it's atmospheric.
Yeah,
it's a very good episode,
and Buffy gets visited by a girl who turned into a vampire who died. Mm-hmm. And essentially they're talking about lots of things, about vampires, about life. It's a very good what-if episode, too, because they talk about the future, and, essentially, Willow almost does contemplate killing herself because she lost her partner, and it's very heartbreaking for both, I would say more so, Willow and Dawn, because they're both struggling with grief, and I thought it was really neat to have no interactions with the main characters. Instead, they're having just interactions with these people that don't exist, and you find out that it's really a demonic thing. Yeah. It's demonic spirit. It's a really good episode.
It's a good episode. All right. Coming in my number 4 is the episode The Freshman. This is the very first episode, Number 4, first episode of season 4.
Yes.
This is on no one's top 10 list, and I understand why. Again, this is just a personal favorite of mine. This episode basically shows you their first day of college and how much they just forget about everything, and they don't want to help Buffy out. Oh, well, Buffy thinks they don't want to help her because they just want to live a normal college life.
Be like a regular adolescent.
They just want to go to class, hang out with people, and not deal with the tragedies of Sunnydale. Not deal with the demons or vampires or witches or anything.
Exactly.
They just want to live a normal life, and Buffy doesn't. She can't.
Because
she wants to, but Slayer. She can't, and it's sad.
It is.
Even Giles at times wants to just chill out. You see him having bang sex with that girl.
Yeah.
He has a little floozy that he hangs out with, but he wants to have a life, and Aaron wants to, and Buffy does too, but she can't. And,
it's really good.
She really finds that out in this episode, and she's like, wow.
I literally am chosen for this. This is what my whole life will always be.
And maybe someday it will be only just me. My friends will want to have lives,
and
get married and have kids.
Yeah.
And I like this episode. It really goes into deep with the relationship.
Very atmospheric.
Yeah, and it goes into really deep with the relationship with her and her friends. And it's got a little villain. It's a one-episode villain.
It's funny.
Great villain, and I like this episode. It has a lot of meaning, and it shows you how interesting Buffy can be as a character, too.
A very interesting character. She's a very multi-dimensional character.
Yeah.
Some people think it's just, it's Buffy kicking ass. No, it's not.
No.
Buffy's got heart.
She's got a lot of layers, too. Got a lot of layers.
Awesome.
Quick 7-second pass. It's got layers.
It's got layers.
I was definitely paying attention. It's got layers. It's got layers. But Buffy has layers. She has layers.
Yeah.
She's like an onion.
Like an onion.
She's like an onion.
You peel her back and there's more.
Ogres are like onions, and so is Buffy.
Buffy is like
She's
an
three-dimensional, like all the other characters, and I love that episode.
Love that episode. You need to check it out. Coming in at my number 4 is actually a really good episode that I don't see a lot on people's tops either. It's Who Are They? Or Who Are You, sorry. And
Great
that episode
episode
is when Buffy and Faith switch bodies. So why that's clever is because technically at this point, when they switch bodies, the Watchers Council has Faith because she's done some bad things. And then all of a sudden Buffy goes out on this all-out spree, really. It's Faith and she dresses all like slutty, and she hits on Riley and sleeps with him.
Yeah, and she hits on Spike too.
And she hits on Spike.
Spike kind of likes it.
And he's like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, and basically they don't know what's going on with Buffy. Like,
why is she
Buffy
acting
acting
weird?
like this?
And eventually Willow finds out that it's not Buffy.
And Buffy's in Faith's body, and she's like locked in a truck.
She's like, "This is not what the shit."
Yeah, she's like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm not
and
Faith.
Eventually they figure out a spell to revert it back, but damage is done. She slept with Riley, and it really wasn't Buffy. And then Faith escapes, and Faith actually finds out she's a horrible person.
Yeah. This actually shows you just a little bit of ounce of goodness Faith does have.
When you watch
watch Angel, because she goes into Angel's show after this.
She does.
And that's when she actually turns good. But this episode just gives you the glimmer of hope that there is still goodness in Faith.
She gets treated really kindly by Riley, and she thinks to herself, are people always this nice? Can I be treated this nicely?
Damn right you can.
And she definitely can. I think Faith's a great character. I think that she's treated badly. I love Eliza Dushku. I can't even deny that. I have a female serious crush on that woman.
I have a man crush on her.
That's a good looking woman.
Oh.
But what I loved about it is I loved how deep it was into her character, and you actually were like, maybe I have some faith that Faith is going to...
I have faith that Faith will have faith.
Exactly. All right, very good episode.
All right, coming to my number 3. We're getting to the top 3 now. My number 3 is Normal Again. This is oh my god. After I watched this episode, I had to watch
Happy Things.
I had to watch it again. This is the most mind fuck of an episode.
This
episode is, what if Buffy was just crazy? What if this entire world we're watching is in Buffy's head?
And she's in a mental
institution.
The worst part is, at the end, it so fucks with you.
You don't even know. This is the most thought-provoking episode of any Buffy. Like, I'm like, what is going on?
Joss, I love your writing. You wrote an episode that made me question your entire Buffy existence.
It actually makes you question your own reality.
You're like, what?
Watching this is like watching The Waking Life. Like, what the fuck is happening?
And it's so creepy. Like, gives you goosebumps. It's so good. And she's talking to people, and she's like, oh, what do you mean I'm not the Slayer? And they think she's like nuts.
Yeah. And then the doctor in the hospital is like, the only way to escape this reality is to kill your friends. They're the one that's pulling you back into this false world that you live in.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
It's so messed up.
What is going on?
It's so messed up.
Obviously,
it's a demonic thing happening
because she gets shot by a demonic needle, and it makes her hallucinate, but this episode just it's the ending. It's the ending when she saves the day and comes back to normal Buffy. You think, it go right to end credits. It doesn't. It goes back to the hospital, and Buffy's just laying on the bed, and then her parents are crying, and the doctor's like, we've forever lost her. And then it goes to end credits. I'm like,
yeah, you're like, what?
Whoa.
So it almost made you think, was this a different dimension?
Yeah,
and
maybe.
she died there, and now she's back in the regular one? It's so confusing.
It's so thought-provoking.
And it's so good.
So fucked up. I'm blown away every time I watch this episode.
It gives you like a mind...
I'm like, holy shit. This is like watching Waking Life meets Memento.
It's amazing.
It's a Buffy episode.
It's a Buffy episode. I don't care what everyone says. If you think Buffy's a bad show, look, just listen to the list we have, and you should know that it's a very, very...
It's not just for women. It's a good action, drama, supernatural thriller. And
it's amazing.
Awesome.
You need to check it out, guys. Yeah.